Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are so happy today to have with us Daphne Baiwir, the director of the wonderful documentary King on Screen, that's coming out of a fantastic fest here in just a few days. Daphne, say hello to everybody.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hey. All right. And so your documentary is actually about the presentation of Stephen King on screen throughout the history of cinema. Is that about right? Did I surmise that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Stephen King through the eyes of the directors who adapted him.
I love that. I love that. And there's been a lot of ridiculously good directors that have worked with him before. Frank Darabont, among them, and you got them all here, being able to speak about these amazing pictures. What was the idea behind that? Because as a documentarian and looking at your filmography, you've always had such interesting subjects. What made this interesting to you?
Well, I think it's interesting when you are watching how much Stephen King had an influence on cinema. And at the same time, he really much well, he was very much influenced by cinema as well. So I think having the director's point of view was something that really was interesting, because you can have this kind of connection between the author and the directors, and how, when you are a director, when you are a filmmaker, how do you adapt something from a author? How do you respect the material, and at the same time, how can you find some place for you to adapt it and to make sometimes changes, or should you make some changes in one cases? So yeah, it was interesting to talk about all this.
I love that. I love that. Now, I'm going to ask you a really difficult question, and I'm sure you're going to be asked it throughout the festival. What's your favorite Stephen King adaptation?
I must say the film I love the most is the Green Man. I mean, this film, when I was a kid, it's one of the first adaptations that I've seen, and it's like such a great movie. I really love this movie because I think it has a great rhythm, great actors, and what Frank Darabont did with the film is amazing, truly.
Oh, God, you're totally correct there. Frank Darabont absolutely knocked that one out of the park. Ironically, my favorite one is Needful Things, which is not like a great one at all, but I like that one personally. Now,
Yeah, Little Things is a great adaptation as well, I think.
yeah, a lot of people don't like it. I love it. I just think it's such a cool premise. The story that you buy something and it always has consequences. I love that idea. Now, what was the process of getting this thing made? Because obviously you had to get a lot of people together to make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So at first, when I had this idea of having the director's point of view, I talked with Sebastian, who's the producer of the film, and he said, "Okay, well, we should try to send a few emails to the directors, see if there is an interest there, if we can do such a thing." And like we sent 10 emails, and in 2 days we've got 10 yes. So we were like, okay, that's perfect, let's do this. And during the whole process, sometimes filmmakers were like, you know what, I know very well this director, have you been in touch with him? And we were like, no, we didn't get the chance to be in touch with him already. And okay, it's okay, I will send an email and I will let him know that you are doing this and he can reach you. And so like this, we had a lot of filmmakers in the documentary at the end.
I love that. And so basically it was like a snowball, right? Where you got one director who knew another one, who knew another one. That's so cool. I think that's really interesting that that's how that all came together. Because obviously, again, it must have been super difficult because it's been over 50 people who have ever done this before. I'm going to ask you a really fun question before I get into the other stuff here. We always like to ask all of my guests. I always like to ask them, if you could only watch two films for the rest of your life, what two would you pick and why?
Two films. Wow, that's a tough question, because I think you cannot watch two films without being sick at one point. But um, Yeah, I think if I had two to choose, it would be like the Green Mile and Misery, I guess, or the Green Mile and The Mist. I really love The Mist. The ending was, well, I think it's one of the best cinema moments that I had. Yeah.
I love the mist. The ending. You're right, though. Oh man, I can't do that ending. It's just too much, too much for me. I can't. It's overwhelming. Now, what I have to ask you when you're why documentaries? Because a lot of people make choices to be filmmakers, but rarely do people choose to be documentarians. What do you like about telling true stories?
Well, actually, I've started doing fictional short films, and I'm doing still both because I think they are quite different ways to tell stories, and both are extremely thrilling to do. And that's why with this documentary, with King on Screen, I wanted to have the small fictional parts as well, because it's something that was interesting to do in the context of this documentary. I think it's great because when you are doing a documentary, you've got this possibility to learn a lot and to meet people that you wouldn't meet otherwise. I mean, if you are directing films, only fictional film, I mean, it's a process where you can be very lonely because there's no reason to meet other directors in a way. So you will be working on one film, but not necessarily meeting other people. And when you are doing documentaries, you're like um, meeting all of these people, different people, and you can have this kind of freedom, and you learn so many different things and so many different approaches. So it's really fascinating.
No, I would absolutely agree with you. I'm going to tell you one of the things that attracted me to covering this project was I did see your Olivia de Havilland short, and I really
Mm.
liked it. And so when I saw that you were directing this feature length documentary, I had to watch it. And I got to tell you, I love the perspectives that you take with your subject. It's more of a hands off, but it gives everybody insight into the subject in such a way where it's easily accessible, even if you don't know anything about the subject. So I have to tell you, I love your work, and I think you're doing amazing work, Daphne.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's true. That the it's great that you are talking as well about the documentary about Olivia de Havilland because it's a documentary that was made during the making of King, actually, and I really loved making it because it was so interesting to discover who Olivia de Havilland was because she made a lot of incredible things and yeah, it was so great to go a little bit deep into this and to
Yeah, I
discover.
love that. And what I love is that that film is a time capsule where this one is like a an archive. Your
Mm.
King on Screen is like an archive of cinema, going all the way back to the '70s when De Palma did Carrie, all the way up till now when we're ruining his perfectly good books with modern movies. I love that, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate that. If anybody wanted to see the film, it is currently going to be playing at Fantastic Fest. But do you guys have a release?
No, we don't have the release dates yet, but it's Yellow Veil that is taking care of the release of the film. So yeah, I don't know the date yet, but it will be, I guess, pretty soon. Yeah.
Perfect. That means if anybody wants to come over and buy this, they absolutely should come to Fantastic Fest, check out the film, and buy it from them because it's totally worth their money. Thank you so much for being with me today, Daphne. I only had 10 minutes. I appreciate you being here. Is there anything else that you want to leave the audience with before I ask my final question?
I think well we cover the basis. We just had I would like to thank just the amazing cast of directors that we had, but also the actors because in the small introduction we had the chance to work with great actors, including James Caan is not with us anymore. But yeah, it was a pleasure to have him a little bit in the film as well, and to have all the actors. And yeah, really, I'm so thankful for that.
I love that. And I was just going to say, I'm going to leave them with this one last question: is why should they, if it becomes widely available and people want to watch your movie, why should they watch King on screen?
Well, I think it's a movie that is speaking to everybody, because it's a movie that you can watch even if you don't know King. And I think that if you love King as much as I do, if you are a fan of Stephen King, you will be able to learn a lot of very cool anecdotes that you don't know about the films. So I think it's it's a different film that the previous one that were made about Stephen King. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here with me, Daphne. I appreciate your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day too.
You
Thank
too.
you for having me.